Hello, this video is to show you how you can go about investing in real estate in the United States. If you are new to this channel, there are a couple of things that I'm doing here which are completely free resources for those who want to make some decisions or are trying to learn new skills. But this particular video is to talk about how to go about your journey in investing in the United States, about going to look for properties or where to look for the properties. So if you are new to the United States, there are a lot of properties out there, and sometimes when people see these properties on the website, oh, they think, oh, it's so cheap, it's $1, it's $5, they want to invest in the United States. That is true. You could find some of those properties listed, but the reality is that you have to check whether the property you are investing in actually worth it, and whether it actually costs $1 as you may have think. As you think. So now, if you look at this particular listing here on Zillow, which is one of the popular websites being used in the US to look for property, this is the state of Louisiana, and basically you look at the property for sales, not for rent or sold, and you basically include the amount you're looking for, the price range you're looking for. In this case, I say from $1 to perhaps I may include here to $250,000, and that would definitely basically give me property listed within that price range. The other thing that I want to consider is the number of rooms. I am interested in 3-bedroom plus, and I'm also interested in properties with perhaps at least 1 bathroom. And that gives me that information. I filter direct at. And then the next one I want to look at is the home type. In the home type, you have the house, and then you have the apartment. Sometimes it's not entirely encouraged to ignore manufactured house. They are not entirely bad. It all depends on the manufactured house, the location. But it's one thing you have to consider. If you're looking at rental property, manufactured house are great houses. There's really no problem with it, and you might actually get good return investment. Again, this is a decision that you have to carefully evaluate as an individual. You have the townhomes. People go for townhome, multifamily, which means you have multi-units or multiple rooms in that property. Condominium is also something to consider. So these are various property options that an investor may want to consider when looking for houses in the US. And basically right here, you have a property filter that has to filter out all the properties that are accepting backup, which means the property already have pending offer or is under contract. And basically, the acceptance of your offer is going to be backup in case the current one fails. And then you have the pending and under contract property, and then this other information. So you could filter out that those type of information. I would basically be looking at property from 1950 to date. It doesn't mean that property built in 1900 are entirely bad. So basically, just out of my reference, I may say my interest is in property built from 2000 to date. So basically, you can select that if specific information. Has a basement, which means the property has a basement. It's not very common with modern houses to have basement. Some do, but not very common in this contemporary um, community development. Then if you look at other information you have here, you may deselect this information if you don't want them. If you are looking at a waterfront property, absolutely you could choose that option there. Mountain view, city view, so you have all these various options. Basically, what I'm looking at is property that are coming soon. If you're an investor, you are looking at property that can easily be rented with less fatigue and less issues and low maintenance property, if you like. Then I'll click OK. And this is the state of Louisiana, and you basically see the list of property that comes up within my selection. So the lowest here, I'll come here and I say sort price from low to high, or you could say price from high to low, whichever you prefer, or the newest listed properties. Right here, we have 34,900 for 3-bedroom. Again, this seems to be very attractive, and these are some of the questions I get from people when they come across property like this. They say, wow, properties is very cheap in the US. It's not all cases. You basically have to look at the areas, and the fact that they are listed in this price does not mean that you should shy away too. So one of the things that I'll quickly do is to look at the street or the environment. I'll basically take this information and I'll go to Google to have a Google, the street view of this property. And that gives me this information here. You have the street view just to give me that neighborhood, how it looks like. Basically, this looks like multi houses community, and it doesn't look like a good view. There's nothing in the backyard here. You have this empty space here, which seems to be attractive. So to me, this is not a bad property entirely, but again, review the neighborhood and see the potential for return on your investment. That is very critical in terms of investment decision. And if we look at some other states, for example, let's look at this state, Colorado, the state of Colorado. If we select that same information we choose earlier, property from $1 to $250,000, and then let's see what we can find within that price range. And we're looking at property from 3-bedroom plus and at least 1 bathroom. And then we apply, and basically we're looking at house, we're looking at townhouses, apartment, manufactured house. We may also want to include that, and then click OK. And then right here, we're looking at property that is currently available for offer or coming to the market. And then we select perhaps the year the property was built. So let's select here built from 2000 to date. And this is basically the information I have here. And as you could see from here in the state of Colorado, the lakes we could find here from low to high is basically $95,000. So I am not quite sure if I did choose manufactured house. So this is not manufactured house, and it does look to me like a single family unit. We could also look at the street to see whether this actually look attractive to us. If we take this address and basically look at the street, I'll talk about these statistics you have here in Zillow shortly, just after this, and then have a street view for this property. Okay, so right here, we can't find any street view for this unit for some reasons. One thing I could do, let me click on this. Okay, so I can't see much information about the street view, but let's see this one right here. Yeah, that gives me the street view, right? So right here, we could see from here, this is a very tidy street. It seems to be very classic, even though it doesn't seem very recent new community, but it looks decent to me. And it looks like properties here will very much be very good for rental property. But again, this is something that you want to evaluate your decision to see whether it's going to worth return your investment. This also look like property that are multi-units and basically where you hold the property and you may end up paying for the land. So these are things that you want to evaluate why it's listed for that price. In the state of Colorado, properties values are considered to be relatively higher than the state of Louisiana, if you like. And that, of course, comes with values because a lot of people move to the state of Colorado, and there's also a lot of activities going on in this state. This is something that you want to consider why this property is listed for this price. There could be other factors to that. So one of the things that you consider is the size of the property too. So this house is 1,260 square feet, 2-bath, 3-bedroom, and based on the Zillow information, it was built in 2016, single-family residence, and the Zillow estimate for this property is $93,000. Now, I will entirely ignore dates. Most of the time, this information is not correct. I actually rely more on Redfin than using Zillow estimates sometimes because the price here could not reflect the value of the property at all. But the best way you can get information about the value of the property is to get an appraiser, get a specialist who specializes in helping you to find out what this property is valued for. And if you look at this information here, the HOA for this property based on the Zillow information is $698, which is relatively considered to be high. And again, you could link that up to whether the land is owned by the HOA association or some other factor. This is something to consider in making this decision. Now, if you want to go further, you look at other statistics, you look at the room dimensions or the room size. There's other important information you may want to consider. So I do intend to uh, make another video specifically how you could navigate through this information on Zillow in terms of looking at the statistics about the property and what that means, how you could use that information as well to support your decision. So rental monthly payment for your mortgage estimate, if you're looking at this price based on Zillow information, is given to you here. One important information that I will also look at is the rental value. Look at the rental value for this property. It's 1,765 for a property that costs about $95,000. If you are an investor, you will consider this to be a good investment because the HOA is about 600 or something, and then maybe your running costs and others, you consider that and you pay this off. This might be a very good return investment in some cases, but you have to consider multiple factors that built into that potential return on investment. Another website that is also commonly used is what we call return, Redfin. So Redfin is also a commonly used website. And then you also have this website here, which is return. For example, this is Aspen, Colorado. And if we look at this website to say property listed here, and we could potentially do the same thing as we did in Zillow by looking at the price range. Let's say in this case, we're looking at price range starting from, let's say $1 to, we won't see anything like 250,000 house in Aspen. I doubt if we can, but let's try that out and see what we get. Okay, so we have $250, $250,000. And basically, let's apply that. Okay, so here's what we got here. This looks like a condominium or what it might be, 230. So of course, this is a condominium. So this is not a single family house. This condominium. If we want to fit out the property, we could take away condominium. We go for a house, we go for townhouse, we go for multifamily house, and then we could also go for mobile, which sometimes is manufactured house. But in this case, I will ignore this. We rather have all of this, which is house, townhouse, and multifamily house. Multifamily house could have many units or multiple rooms in some cases. Okay, let's see what comes up. Nothing, absolutely nothing. So that's what I mean by saying that you can't get any house for this price in Aspen. So Aspen is one of the most competitive area in the state of Colorado. So you expect house prices to be high there. So let's increase that to $1.4 million. And then down, let's see what comes up within this price range. We have very handful properties, very few properties that comes up under this range. So this is 3-bedroom house, 1,607 square feet, and it's going for $1,350,000. And then you have this 2-bedroom house, 1 bath, going for $275,000. So with this information on return, it basically gives you this listed price. But one good thing that I like about return is usually, if you look at the property value aspect of it, sometimes it will give you about estimates from 3 different valuers. Like, for example, you could see here collateral analytics is valuing this property for $2,180,000. And the CoreLogic is giving no value for it. And if you look at Quanteriums, is giving no value for it as well. In some property, you have those 3 estimates, and that will help you to have some sense about how much you could make, you could offer for the property. But again, as I said, these websites do not really give you accurate information about the property values. The best way to know the value of the property is to get a valuer who can give you some appraisal on what that property value based on recent sales history in that neighborhood. Now, if we look at this, most of the properties here are pending, and they're basically going for quite a significant price. let's look at this property, which is going for which is 4-bedroom, currently pending. Let's see what we can get for the information. So you could see from here what I said earlier, the collateral analytics gives $1,380,871. Our core logic is estimating this property for basically for $1,227,071. And then you have the other estimator giving information about $1,270,846. And one good thing that I could also do with this information is to look at the table, and that provides you the estimate over time just beyond the chart. So this chart here gives you January 2020, what this property was valued for by these three value acts, if you like. So this is something that you may want to consider if you want to look at some other perspective about that property. Typically, if I'm looking at properties, I'll look at it from Zillow, from return, and also from Redfin. So that same property you just look at, you can basically look at the same information or different information that you don't necessarily get from the return from Redfin. What I've noticed over the time, I find Redfin estimates to be more reliable in terms of the trade website, yet I do not really rely on them. I try to get my independent information from those who have the data to look at what the property was. So in this particular information here, you could calculate what your mortgage is going to cost by including your potential interest, modify the price you wish to offer for the property. You could edit that here, home price, and that will give you what your repayment is going to look like. So at least you have a sense about what you are going into, if it's something that you can afford or not. In as much as we look at this expensive property from Aspen, remember that we talk about Louisiana, we talk about some part of Colorado where you could get some affordable properties. The lower the price of the property does not determine the return on investment. The higher the price of the property does not determine the return on investment. The best way to know your return on investment is to get professionals who could give you some insight about what your investment may worth in years to come. I hope you find this video useful. Look out for my other videos on looking at the analytics that are disclosed by each of these sites in terms of how that will help you to have deep information about the property you want to buy.